Hey guys, it's Jim Rose from RPM Dynamics. Welcome to Midas HD. This video is going to be the first video in a series that I'm going to post in a playlist on YouTube based on the new Midas Heritage HD96 24 console. This console I have in front of me, this is one of a few in the world right now. Midas has a few that were out for beta testing. These ones are now getting used for trade shows and showing them off as the console that is soon to come. This is sort of a pre-release time on these consoles. I feel really fortunate that I was able to spend some time with the console, learn a little bit more. I've been involved with the console for 2 to 3 years, and I've managed to watch the growth on it as it's been happening, and I'm really proud to see what they've come up with for a solution here. The basics of the console: it's a 28 fader console, 3 banks of 8, a bank of 4, completely customizable. You can have them be inputs, VCAs, outputs, masters. You can move anything anywhere. You can make all of these things do whatever you want. So the fader bank on this now is completely customizable to the user. Has a full channel strip section that now, unlike on Pro Series, has fixed band EQs for the EQ sections on here, so you don't have to deal with up and down arrows to find the things you want. It has 2 solo buses, 2 headphone outputs. The magic of this console in hardware is this screen. This screen is a 21-inch daylight visible multi-touch screen. So if we go to the home screen here, there are 5 different views that you can have this console set up that will give you different setups based on the need of what your show is. Along with that, you can drag up extra fader bays, you can do all kinds of things, but the power of the screen is it brings everything to you, and it's so easy to see, so easy to operate. The multi-touch gestures are pretty cool. You can grab multiple things with your fingers, move different. I can grab 3 faders at one time, move them up at different rates, move them down, do whatever I want to do. So it's kind of unique in that way that this touch screen is so active as a part of the console. Channel count: the console is 144 inputs. It is, I think it's 123 outputs based on 96 aux buses, 24 matrices, and the 3 left, right, center outputs. Sourcing your inputs and outputs: there are 4 AES-50 ports on the back that are 24 channels apiece that will use existing stage boxes. There are 2 HyperMax Snake ports on the back. Each one of those can plug a 9680 network extender in. Each one of those units can add an additional 8 ports of AES-50. So that can add an additional 16 ports of AES-50 to this console, allowing for up to 480 inputs via Midas stage boxes to pick your channel from. There are 2 built-in CM1 slots in the rear, allowing you to add MADI, Dante, USB communication on this console with 64 channels available at 96K in the MADI and Dante formats. You can add that into the channel count. There's 8 analog inputs, 8 analog outputs. There are 6 AES EBU inputs and outputs. There's a TalkMite input, and there is a TalkBack input. So for 96K input to the desk, I think that comes out to around 560 channels or something like that you can draw into the desk to fill your inputs, fill the other stuff that you need in here. Output-wise, pretty relative to that. Most of the inputs are outputs, less things like the TalkBack channels, but there are 2 48K Ultranet ports on the back to patch into things like a P16 personal monitoring system. To me, this console is unique as itself. It's got a format that's comfortable to use, and you find that even though this channel strip section is here, you just keep getting drawn to the screen because everything you can do on this screen is so easy and in your face. The rest of the videos I've done give basics on those type of things. My take on the console: I've been involved with it for between 2 and 3 years, and I've watched its growth, and seeing the product of what they've given us, it's pretty incredible. The biggest thing is the sound. The console uses the same basic path as Pro Series to develop that sound, and I'm not sure if it's just that it's 64-bit processing front to rear inside the desk, but the clean, smooth sound that comes out of this desk, to me, is better than Pro Series. I've been on Pro Series for many years, and since I've been utilizing this console for testing, I'm using tracks that were recorded on the same stage boxes via Pro Series, and the smoothness and the cohesiveness that comes off of the mixes that you get off this console with very little effort makes me feel like this console actually sounds better than the Blue desks that I'm already mixing on. Time management in this console, better than on Pro Series, with an extra step in between. You'll see in some of these other videos I have the basics on that, but the console for cohesiveness and summing to make sure you don't end up with phase problems through the console is like no other console on the market. One of the big things about this console is the fact that it's the first bidirectional console that not only takes human information in, but it's the first console that takes that human information and sends it out. We as engineers come mix on a console, we build our mix, we put it together, and when we leave that console, we have a show file that shows the moment that if someone took our show file and they plugged it into their console and they turn it on, they can turn that console on to be us for a second. But that's all. They are stuck in a moment in time of when you hit save. This console is going to be able to take the way we mix and import that metadata to the web into a cloud-based system called mCloud and use that information as a database to understand how we mix. It's like nothing else in the world, and it's the first forward step like this in audio. All other consoles that have come out, even if they've been growing in the world of analog, or even digital, it's not growing in the sense of adding something new to what we do. What we do is we mix. And if someone adds an extra effect, which like this did that stuff too, you add an extra effect, you add an extra path, you add an extra loop of it's going to be fiber or this and that. That is all stuff that's pre-existing conditions that are just done better. This console is the first console that's able to look forward. mCloud is going to be something that as a user on this console, through your user profile, you can connect to this web and you can upload your show files, which you can download from the web to any console or your browser anywhere for an editor. There will be forums available at some point. There will be user manuals. There'll be information that you as a user have access to. But in turn, what will be happening is from the console, in order to use the cloud, you will upload data from your show into that. It's not like someone's taking pictures of you in your house with a camera, but what you're allowing Midas to do is understand how we as human engineers mix. We'll be able to look at these consoles, and Midas will look at it and say, hey, listen, this is the way people set this console up. If you have a vocal channel, here's the EQ points that you put onto your vocal. Here's the cues you use. Here's your high pass. This is the compression ratio, and it'll be able to build a database of common features that are used for common instruments. It can look at over time in your show, changes that are made, and it's going to be able to map that data to start understanding how we mix as engineers, not just the point in time when we hit save with our show file. It will understand these things, and in turn it can help us back. It's going to be years before a console can ever think about mixing like a human, but as this data comes in, it's going to bring it closer. But in that interim, what it's going to do is bring us features like, if it does learn EQ points and cues and compression ratios, when I say I want to put a vocal channel here, how nice would it be when you put that vocal channel there and you go to your EQ and all of your center points and all of your cues are where you would normally put them on a SM58 on a vocal. Or when you go to a kick drum, there's something completely different, but something that makes sense for a kick drum channel. No one can say that will not be a tool in helping them mix their show better and faster. And it's not an end-all say-all, but it's the first step in us being able to communicate how we mix to a database so that it can be understood, rather than all of that human part of it being kept inside ourselves. This console is the first console that's going to introduce that to the world. And it's a really exciting time to be able to be involved with these things. We're in the cusp of a new way of mixing with this console. Other consoles, because they're based on architecture that was older, this forethought was never part of the system, so it's next to impossible to introduce that into them. Midas was the same with Pro Series. This desk was a desk that was introduced in the current time to be able to say, what can we do to make mixing better? What's missing? Why can't we get better? Why can't we learn these things to help? And the key was, how do we get the information on how we mix into a database so we can try to figure out how to add that human element and the way that we're thinking into the system. This console is going to do that. If you want to watch the videos that I have in here, there's a lot of the features and stuff that are on this console. Again, remember, this is a pre-production console, that there's 4 of them in the world or something like that. And the things that are on this console, minor things might change. Operating system, most definitely there will be things that will probably be a little different. I don't know if they'll be major, but there will be changes between now and launch. There'll be, whether it be bug fixes or things that they realize could be better, or things that they already know they're introducing, new effects, new this, new that. But as the console sits, it's pretty remarkable, and I feel fortunate that I've been able to spend this time on it. And hopefully you guys will enjoy the videos I've done in this series. And for those of you that can't make it to a trade show to see this console and are only seeing, a distant shot from the web, I tried to make this series of these things so that it's hopefully easy to follow, but it gives you the basic idea of where HD is taking Midas in the current world of the mixing platform. So again, this is Jim with RPM Dynamics. I hope you enjoy my videos, and I hope you enjoy HD. I'm floored with it. The thing is incredible. Thanks.